Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right. I'm John Palacio.
And I'm Marlene Cuellar, and thank you for joining us this morning.
We're so grateful you're able to join us this morning. You're starting your morning right with us right here on Channel 5. And first order of duty, while it's beautiful out, Marlene, while
Hot.
it's looking good.
It's
I
hot.
I know. So, two days in a row, I roll my eye.
So, I mean, like the waters are flat, like.
Yeah. It's beautiful out though. That much we could tell you. The country is lovely. I could imagine what the drive through the Hummingbird right now is looking like. Oh my goodness. But nonetheless, our first order of duty is always to break down to you what you've seen in our newscast last night. And there's so many things we could actually talk about, including the press conference called by the opposition, all the murders that have been plaguing our country, and them being very young people in the teens. We're talking youths. So many things. But Marlene, for me, what struck home for me last night looking at the news is actually Channel 5, my home, where we're actually winning awards. And for me, looking at it and seeing how far we've come as a company, how long these awards have been going, the fact that we continue to deliver premium stories, the fact that we're actually passionate about what we deliver to you is what to me resonates the most. You took part in it yesterday. It was by Zoom.
Yeah.
How was it? What was it? What happened? Talk to us about it.
No, I mean, I think it's once again another great achievement for Great Belize Productions.
Yeah.
We have been consistently having a very firm presence in the Caribbean Media Awards over the years. And I always try to put it into perspective for people that you're talking about stations from across the Caribbean, including, the big countries. You're talking about Jamaica, Trinidad, and all these news companies and production houses, I should say, submit their productions for the Caribbean Media Awards. And it is a great moment of pride for us when the CMAs come around and we're able to maintain our space in the region when it comes to broadcasting. And this has been, a part of the legacy. When I came to Channel 5, the wall of awards were there. And over the years, it's just been growing and growing as we keep on recruiting a really great team who can be able to produce this quality of work.
And a lot of people have been asking that question while there are various media houses across the country. How is Channel 5 just always just swinging that bat and lashing away homers? How do you qualify for these awards?
Well, you have to be a member of the union, the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, which we have been for a very long time. And so it's member stations that do submit. And, I think we have always maintained a standard when it comes to production, from whether it's making a commercial or making a public service announcement or documentary or show or news items. We know that there's a certain quality that is the standard, and that's what we maintain. And so we walked away with 6 awards yesterday. Andrea Polanco, this is her story here. This is a great one. She worked with Chris Mangar. Isani Caetano for his story on
Machakila, yes.
For traveling with the students when they went to take their PSE. That was an amazing story.
I remember that story well.
Yeah. And, our production side also won an award for or ad production as well.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And we also got for health journalism and responsible coverage of children. So, and People's Choice Award, which is a voting competition.
And to put into perspective the magnitude of this, How many awards were actually given out? And would you say that Channel 5 won the most as a station?
See, this isn't my style, right? But I mean, this is, and I gotta say this though, because it is a production team that puts together these stories. Rip Romero, Chris Mangar, Joel Wesby, and Kenroy Michaels. They were part of the teams that helped to put together these stories. So I want to say, our behind-the-scenes team is top-notch. And so they keep on working along with our news team and in the production area to ensure that we got top quality. But yeah, there were 10 categories of awards. There were 10 categories that they were giving awards for yesterday, and we won 6 awards in 5 categories.
Wow.
So we won the top prize, and there's a special mention when it's almost a tie, but they have to pick one.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
well, I tell you what.
We're very proud and we're very happy today.
You said it well. We actually won the top prize.
Yeah.
And that showcases the passion, like we mentioned, behind what we do here at Channel 5. But one of the things that we say every morning, Marlene, that without our people in-house, and of course you there at home, this wouldn't be possible. You help us to drive the passion in what we do because of the reception that is received from what we actually showcase out there. But we continue to say as well that if you see something that is newsworthy, you could always give us a call at our newsroom, and we'll tackle that story and get to the nitty-gritty, the bottom of it. That is what we do.
Of course. And speaking of stories from yesterday, diving into the controversy of Ding Ding Walla Walla.
Oh my goodness. It's a story.
Can I say this though?
Yeah, sure,
you see how, they always say any publicity is good publicity. Yeah. Because I was checking out Kimberly Flores's video, and it's, I think, over 20,000 views now. When this thing first erupted over the weekend, she was, I think, maybe about 4 or 5. And she's over 20K now, and I'm pretty sure those are all Belizeans.
I sure too.
Because everybody also commented as well.
Yeah, because everybody wanted to see what had happened. I think it blew up on social media and in the news on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there, Saturday or Sunday, and it just took the country by storm because we feel actually that Ding Ding Walla, or we know that Ding Ding Walla is actually homegrown Belizean. Actually, from all the way back in the 70s, this song came out, and it sounded like, it says the Wells, and clearly I could hear Jesus Acosta and the Professionals. I could hear some Lord Rayburn among the crew as well. But Leela Vernon is the one who, may she rest in peace, of course, who actually took it to another notch by doing her version of it. And then now seeing somebody from Guatemala actually trying to do a remake and saying that it's her composition is what made that story blew up like wildfire, Marlene. So it's a thing, and BSCAP will be in to talk to us about.
Yeah, we're going to dive into that.
Copywriting and whatnot.
It's far more complicated than we thought.
Yes.
And I think that has been the telling fact here. We've been talking about things like copyright and intellectual property for a while, and this is kind of one of those classic examples. I know yesterday you had Marie Sharp on. I was so jealous about that you got to try the new pepper. But, she is perhaps, her story is one of the stories that's always used as an example to remind Belizean companies and Belizean producers, whether it is a creative product that they're making, or if it's a physical product as well, that they have to consider the fact that people may steal their ideas.
Yes.
Steal their brand.
Steal their brand, indeed. So we'll be discussing those things
because
it's very important for us to discuss it.
I woke up singing Ding Ding Walla Walla because I was watching Dwayne's story. And I thought it was so interesting.
Very, very, very interesting. If you ask me if I like the rendition, I'll keep that to myself.
You don't like it?
Her rendition of it is...
You can be a fan even if you don't agree with it. You can say you like the music.
Her rendition to me is not... you can't phase out what Leela Vernon did, putting a twist to it, singing it so nicely. I really like the Wells, but Leela Vernon to me is... the rendition that I really and truly love. I am not in love with what the young lady did in Guatemala. That's just my personal opinion, because I think that I've heard the best of Ding Ding Walla right here at home.
Yeah.
You know, so those are some of the stories that made the news. And finally, Marlene, we know that there's a storm out there. There are a few storms actually that are out there, and they're twirling around. I think 2 in the Atlantic, because one of them actually hit mainland U.S. and have now just gone away. But there are 2 out there right now, one further up in the Atlantic, and there's one that is close to home. And that one is actually Tropical Storm Grace. Now, Grace had been forecasted to follow Fred. Grace was forecasted to follow Fred, but Grace made a turn on her own. And she eventually came down from heading up to the U.S., then heading up there through the Caribbean, and now setting eyes on the Yucatan Peninsula. And so, therefore, you know, it's something that we're actually looking. We should be having the forecasters to tell us more about it.
We're going to be trying to get that weather update in just a few. But before we move on any further, of course, we must keep on talking about COVID-19.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of where we are at this time. And so yesterday, we saw that the recent reports from the Ministry of Health show that 98 new cases were confirmed. And I also want to note the fact that there were 3 new deaths that were confirmed.
Yeah.
One of those deaths actually took place the day before. It's a young man who worked at BTL, Angel Puche.
Everybody loved that guy.
Young guy. Everybody knows
everybody
Angel.
knows him,
And I think knowing he was in the hospital for the past week was one of those stories I kept on telling people, like, pay attention. This disease is not something to be taken lightly. It is affecting a younger and younger, and Angel is in his mid-30s. And so I think that, we can't underestimate that COVID-19 is going to just be a disease that you get and you recover from it. That might be the case. It's the case in most instances, but there's no guarantee that your body is going to be as resilient as you expected or hope for it to be.
Yeah, he was well loved by a lot of people, and this is a clear example of what you need to do to protect yourself and your family. You never know when it's going to be knocking at your door and taking away someone that you love. This guy was loved by a lot of people, and a lot of people felt it. As a matter of fact, there were news stories about him as well. There he is, young, vibrant, always the life of the party, and now he lost the battle to COVID-19.
And I want to take a moment to say, because, to be absolutely fair, there are now 347 deaths. So there's 347 stories out there of people who've lost loved ones. And, we had Dr. Arriaga on the Get the Facts show on Monday. And he said one of those things, he reminds us that this is not the way, there's no preferable way to die, but it is not an easy death. The isolation that you feel, that your family, imagine being from isolating with COVID-19 to checking into a hospital and never seeing your family again. Or your family never seeing you again. And I think that that's one of the things that we really don't put into perspective often enough. So this is one story of one young man, but as I said, over 300, almost 350 more stories out there of people who've experienced that type of loss and pain.
But we continue to remind folks that the Ministry of Health and Wellness is actually out there doing their vaccination campaign. So if you know that you haven't received your vaccine as yet, you're over 18 years old, then go on out to any of the health centers across the country and get vaccinated.
All right. But let's get moving into our show for today. And that means it's time for Eye Opener. And our Eye Opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. There is nothing in your life that cannot be overcome. Whatever the situation or problem, there is always a solution. When our next best course of action seems unclear, any dilemmas we face can appear insurmountable. Yet, there is nothing we cannot overcome with time, persistence, focused thought, help, and faith. Whatever the situation or problem, there is always a solution. If you feel overwhelmed by the scope of your troubles, you may want to think of other people who've turned adversity into triumph. We often gain a fresh perspective when we remember others who have overcome larger obstacles. It can be inspiring to hear of their victories, helping us remember that there is always light at the end of every tunnel. It is during our darkest hours that we sometimes need to remind ourselves that we don't have to feel helpless. You have within and around you the resources to find a solution to any problem. And remember that if a solution or choice you make doesn't work, you're always free to try another. Believe that you can get through anything. You will always prevail.
Oh my God. I'd like to frame this one. I'd like to
That's a
make
great reminder,
song. Yeah, I'd like to make a song out of it. I'd like for everybody
Well,
to
sing
just
it then.
Marlene, you not start me. 'Cause you know I can get a song out of this. But this subtly it reminds me of yesterday speaking with Miss Marie. And it might not be as hard hitting as people would feel in terms of her story, but she said, you know what, Marlene, that she planted a lot of peppers because there was somebody who she wanted to provide pepper who actually was making some sauces, and she was working for that company. And when she got there, the person said, "Hey, I don't need all of that. Will you?" Because she brought an entire pickup of, and when she got there, I don't need all of that. So her thing was, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with all these peppers? And that was the troubling part, because you did a big job trying to make sure that somebody is sufficed with what you need, and then bam, there was nothing you can do about it. Or was there? She turned it around with that strength and made an entire business that now, 40 years after, is the number one nearly across the world. Now, where am I getting from with this? Believe that you can get through anything and you will always prevail. Sometimes you will prevail to become one of the juggernauts of the country in terms of your business, in terms of what you believe in. There is nothing in your life that cannot be overcome. Whatever the situation or problem, there is always a solution. Look, believe. And that was her story, and it's going to happen.
That's right.
And with that said, that was a quick eye-opener there. We've got the forecasters here on the duty, on duty. It's time to take a look at the weather. Now, in with us, we have forecaster Shania Young. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Shania. It's so nice to hear from you. We know that there's a telling situation going out there in the Atlantic. Let's take a look at the weather before we get in some questions. The general situation, please.
Okay, so generally conditions are expected to become more moist and unstable over the area during the next few days.
All right, and then the 24-hour forecast?
So today, skies will be mostly sunny, with showers or thunderstorms being isolated, except for a few more over northern and some central areas this morning, and then over the south tonight.
All right, we know that we've got some advisories, watches, warnings, but let's get to the winds before we get to that.
Okay, so the winds will be from the north and northeast at 0 to 10 knots, relatively light, and sea conditions will be light chop. However, there's likely to be a small cloud warning that will go into effect tonight.
What about our temperatures, highs and lows?
So high temperatures for today will be 90 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 98 inland, and 82 in the hills, and hence the reason why we have a heat alert currently for residents, especially those inland, and therefore they are advised to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activities as much as possible.
All right, and in the outlook, the extended forecast?
So the outlook for Thursday and Thursday night is for a few showers and thunderstorms, but this will be increasing around the country Thursday night differently.
All right, Shania, let's break down for a moment about how Grace is going to impact us. I know we've been seeing the cone. We didn't expect it to hit the Yucatan Peninsula. There is no chance of it coming any further south. Is there?
Well, at this time, no, since last night around 9, and then throughout the course of the night, as was previously expected, Grace continues to move northward. It's now on a west-northwestward trend, so it's continues to move north of us. And the last update at 6 a.m. this morning had the center located near 19.1 north, and longitudes are Sorry, 81.4 west. And in terms of Belize, this was about the closest point to us was near Half Moon Key, which was about 422 miles to the east-northeast of that island.
Okay.
So it's relatively far from us, and with the current path, and also its more northward movement, it's expected to move past north of us.
Yes.
Later tonight or tomorrow.
So how will it impact our weather? That's why we're having the rains tonight, right?
Starting later tonight and tomorrow, but as this storm moves more inland over the Yucatan and then into the Gulf, the bands will pull up moisture over our areas, so we will be having outbreaks of showers, especially on Friday, and then a slight decrease on Saturday, but then another increase on Sunday from the bands as it moves away from the area. And so for us currently, the major concern will be the rainfall and therefore flooding, especially for those in low-lying areas, especially for northern and some central coastal areas.
How much rain would we be expecting?
Currently, the projections are for about 1 to 3 inches of rain over the next few days.
Oh, over the next few days, okay.
Yes.
And any impact of wind?
Winds right now doesn't seem to be a significant factor. The most we are seeing is about 10 to 20 knots, and on Saturday it could be slightly gusty to 25, but it's not a major concern at this time.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else brewing out there that we got to keep an eye on?
At this time in our area, no. There's only Tropical Storm Henry, but that's near Bermuda, and it doesn't pose a threat to us. And there's no other tropical systems that are expected to form during the next 48 hours. But as we move into the peak of the hurricane season next month, residents are advised to continue to revise their plans and make sure they're ready in the event that any other system develops that may potentially pose a threat to the country.
Okay. Well, Shania, we appreciate the update. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So there you had it from the forecasters there at the National Met Service. Grace providing slight rain, 1 to 3 inches. There, of course, will be a flood advisory for low-lying areas, especially in northern and portions of central Belize as well. She also made mention, Marlene, heat alert residents, especially, heat alert residents, especially those inland, are advised to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activities as much as possible. And a small craft warning likely to go into effect tonight. And those were from Shania Young at the National Met Service.
All right.
All right. So there you have it. We are about to move on with our program. Of course, we've got 3 segments lined up for you. The first one, we'll be taking a look at that situation with Ding Ding Walla, or actually talking about with reps of BSCAP. And we'll be tackling the issue of copyright in the recent controversy over a famous Belizean song. Looking forward to that as to what we can do to protect our songs.
All right, and the second part of the show, we know that face-to-face classes have been called off, and the children will go back to distance learning, and they'll still be at home. One of the things we know that a lot of parents are concerned about is the amount of screen time their children are getting. And so we're going to be talking to a pediatrician and neurologist about how to minimize the impact of all this, the time they're spending on their digital device. And so that's going to be the second part of our show.
Yep, and our third segment for this morning, Dare to Dream Big. It's a program, and the folks from BNE Charitable Trust will be talking to us about it, what to, how to, when to, and what it's about, actually. Dare to Dream Big. We've got those 3 topics lined up for you this morning. We need to take a break, though, but just before we do, we do have a birthday shout-out. And we would like to say a big, big happy birthday to Amia Wagner, 10 years old. You go, girl. I love that hair. Happy birthday to you from the entire family. Wishing you all the very best. And of course, from all of us here at Channel 5 And all of us right here on Open Your Eyes. Amya Wagner. Happy birthday. All right, so we're about to take that break. When we come back, we'll be diving directly into our first segment. Stay with us. We will be right back.
At Belize Diagnostic Center, we offer FDA-approved PCR testing for COVID-19. Get your results as quickly as 1 hour. Don't risk getting exposed to COVID-19 by going elsewhere. We take appointments, or we can come to your home or office using our concierge service with no additional fees. We have 10 locations countrywide. Call or WhatsApp us at 613-TEST. That is 613-8378 to schedule your test today.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime. While with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Hola Tony.
Hey Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
Hey son, how was your first day at Sixth Form?
Really cool. It was great to see my friends, and I really love my teachers.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm sorry I wasn't there for your first day, but I'll be back from Corozal next week.
It's okay, Dad. I can't wait to see you. Oh, and please remember, I still have some books I need to purchase.
Ah, yes. Let me e-cash you that right now. Money has been sent. I add a little extra cash just for you.
Whoa, Dad. Thanks. Got it.
You're welcome, sir.
Download the eCash app today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257. eCash, the future is here.
vaccinated to protect myself, my family, my patients, and my community.
Good morning, Nurse Happiness here. I got my vaccine because I want to protect my family, especially my patients, and everybody around me, everybody I come in contact with.
Mi nombre es Nurse Chinchilla. Me vacuné porque quiero proteger mis familias y mis pacientes.
I'm Dr. Nunes, internist at Sororina Hospital, and I got vaccinated to protect myself, my staff, and my patients.
Soy el doctor Eduardo García, he trabajado 22 años en Belice y yo me puse la vacuna del COVID por la sencilla razón de protegerme a mí mismo, proteger a mi familia y proteger al país de Belice, porque es importante pensar en Belice.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our first segment for the morning. And this one is actually one of those conversations that is actually hitting the country by storm. What is it? We'll be discussing with BSCAP. We'll be tackling actually the issue of copyright. Now, how did we come around to this conversation? Because of the Ding Ding Walla song. All right. So, but you know, it actually is falling to place where which I feel the right way, because Belizeans need to know how to protect their product, all right? So in to talk to us about it, we've got Heather Cunningham. She's the interim chairwoman and entertainment attorney for BSCAP, and also Melissa Zuniga, who is the general manager for BSCAP. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Morning.
Hey, good morning.
All right, so nice to see both of you. So do we start by singing the song? What do we do? You know, it's a situation that actually resonated because of how close we are with this song, how much we love this song, and the person who actually wrote this song, the Queen of Brockdown in Belize, may she rest in peace, Leela Vernon. Tell us about this song and the particulars, and I'll go with Heather. Tell us about the particulars of this song and how it got started.
Well, the particulars of the song is still under investigation, to be honest. We did some due diligence, and we were not able to see or find the chain of title from the start. And that's the first process, being able to identify the original authors. We know that Leela did a version, and there's several other versions of the song, some which were in existence prior to Leela's version. So until we know who actually authored the song, it's hard to really identify the true owner, basically, of the composition. And as far as the copyright is concerned, the copyright follows the owner. And since we don't know for certain who the original authors are, that's where things stand. Now, Leela definitely has a version, and her version is protected to the extent that it's the arrangement was different from the original. I haven't heard the original, so I can't speak to whether it's similar, different, or not.
Yeah. This brings into focus a larger issue here, and I think it has opened up the conversation about intellectual property and copyright. This scenario, I think, with the Ding Ding Walla song, which sounds weird to say out loud without singing, is one where we only know, or the majority of people have been exposed to Belizean artists singing the song. So the natural assumption is that it is ours. Explain to us why this is not such a clear-cut scenario.
Well, because if there were pre-existing versions of the song, it's not any one person. It starts with, again, it's like with buying a house. When you purchase a house, you usually have to, in order for you to own it, you have to have clear title, meaning you know exactly who you got it from and from the time it was created or built. And that's the same process with music. There's a chain of title. So when you create, and this is what artists, creators are encouraged to do, to register with deposit in a depository there in Belize. or register with the Copyright Office in the US.
Yeah.
Or for music specifically, the artist can register with BISCAP. And when you register with BISCAP, your works are documented, the authors are documented, and it's in an international database. So it's a record of your ownership in the song. So there won't be a question as to, well, who's the original author or when was the song created? All of those questions will have been documented, and it would be easier to answer in a situation when someone comes out with a similar work to say, oh, well, this work was done first, so this is the original author. And then the question can be answered as to whether it's a public domain work, because public domain, according to the law, goes according to when the work was created, and if the author is unknown, because it's the life plus 50 years in Belize. So once the author passes, there's 50 years for copyright protection, and then it falls into public domain. And if the author is unknown, which is the case right now, then it's 50 years from the date of the initial publication of the work. Now the question is, when was the work first released? We don't know. That research has to be done before we can speak on that.
Yeah.
So
I think we have Melissa on the line too. Melissa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
We had a power outage. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
But Melissa, this really brings into focus, I think, I think it's surprising for people to know that we don't know the origins of the song, and I know it ties back to folklore. Tell us the perspective. BISCAP put out the release, and we appreciate it, because where I think tensions were already high and people were agitated, you kind of brought in just the facts of the situation.
Correct. Yeah. We wanted to use it as a moment where we could share some information about the importance of copyright, Intellectual Property Act, and laws. And in this specific example, public domain, and what that is, and how this specific song or why this specific song is considered public domain work, and why there was no infringement in the use of the song by Kimberly Flores. So we just wanted to clarify the facts and just bring awareness to the general public. We understand the national pride.
I was about to say, nobody's happy with BISCAP saying, yes, it's okay for her to use it.
Yes, we understand national pride as it relates to, Miss Leela Vernon's version, but we just wanted to share, facts as it relates to this new release, and quell some of the false information that is going out there about the work.
Mel, I like I mentioned earlier as we started, I think this situation is actually an eye-opening one for Belizeans, so they're able to protect their product of music. What was the feeling like from the team at BISCAP when you heard about it? And I could just imagine we scrambled. What happened there?
Yeah, well, our initial reaction was trying to ensure that no infringement occurred. So that was the first thing, and that's why we did the preliminary research. We found a version from 1975 that was done by the web. And so we just, we're trying to still, like as Heather mentioned, ascertain who the original author was. But it is clear that it is a public domain work. And so that was one of the things that we were able to, so far confirm.
How do you determine if it's a public domain work? How do you find that out?
It is a public domain work if the copyright has expired, if the work has no clear owner that has been established, and if the original owner of the work created it and stated that they wanted the work to be public domain, because you can create a work in 2021 and you can indicate that you want this work to be public domain. And so that would have no copyright and anyone would be able to use that work without infringement. So those are some of the basic facts that we have identified thus far.
So, what does this mean moving forward? Now that we have identified in this particular scenario that the origins of Ding Ding Walla are unknown, are we now looking into other well-known songs that perhaps go back to folklore that we need to investigate and prevent this from happening?
Well, I think one of the things that we are trying to do is to increase public knowledge about copyright. Now that this incident or this matter has occurred, we also want persons to be aware of it, because there are also a lot of Garifuna songs that are considered traditional songs. And they're used by different artists here in Belize, in Guatemala, Honduras, etc. So we just want to increase that awareness about copyright, about how one can protect their work. And we also want to have the conversation. As a country, there are certain things that we still need to put in place. Our Copyright Act was last updated in 2000. Since then, we have signed 5 additional treaties that are not incorporated into that Copyright Act. So we want to ensure that from a country level, if infringement occurs, that there is protection. We also want to ensure that for the persons that publicly perform music, we want for them to pay and acknowledge that these works were created by other persons, not necessarily just the singer of the song, but there are people behind the scenes who have contributed to the work, and we want those persons to be able to be compensated for their contribution to those works. So it's just, a perfect opportunity to have a discussion and to, ask the hard questions as it relates to where we are as a country in relation to copyright, intellectual property.
What would you say in terms of the entire body of original Belizean songs that we know of? How much of it is protected?
That is hard to say. Again, it goes back to the origin. Some of what we consider Belizean folklore, the traditional songs, sometimes it is not. I have heard some songs in Jamaica and Barbados that I thought were Belizean.
Like which ones? Before we have to get blindsided again.
I don't recall at this point.
I know a few.
Yeah, but there are a few of them that are common in the Caribbean. Yes. So I could always send you that information.
Yes.
I think it's great information to have. There is a song from Lord Rayburn that is called King Liar, and it's a favorite of mine. I love the lyrics, but it was actually done way before that, and yes, it was actually done way before that. I don't remember the artist, but out of Trinidad, and that's a great song. I actually thought it was here. One day I went up to say, you know what, I want to hear this song, so I looked it up, and I couldn't find the Lord Rayburn version. I actually found the original, but nonetheless. How do we, if I should make a song right now, which Marlene nearly challenged me this morning, but if I should make a song right now, what are my steps to get it copyrighted?
Okay, Heather?
Well, the steps, it's twofold, well, threefold. As I stated earlier, one, you can do the depository, and I recommend all 3 actually. Do the depository here in Belize. I think there's a depository fee, which is you deposit a copy of your recording. The other is register with VISCAP if you're a songwriter of music or lyrics or melody. to register so that you can have a record of your ownership interests, and also so that you can collect royalties both locally and internationally, and also register with the U.S. Copyright Office. Because a lot of, we found that a lot of the artists' works, well, not a lot, there's been a few instances of some of the artists whose works have been infringed upon here in the States. And one of the requirements for suing for infringement in the courts here is you have to have a copyright registration before filing. And it's time, there's a certain time limit that you have in order to do everything. So if you start out with making sure you're protected, in the event that your music is infringed upon, you can preserve your rights and be able to get statutory damages.
Yeah. Now, I think one of the things, though, as you rightly pointed out, John, I think it's just a different era, where artists, let's say 30 years ago, didn't have to think of copyright infringement. Maybe the newer artists are protecting themselves, but we still have kind of that purgatory of music we know and love that may or may not be ours. How do you address music that has been created in the past, and whether somebody wants to recreate it today?
I think those we call those the classic catalogs or classic works, and those artists especially need to register their works. If they haven't before, do so now, because a lot of people, the newer, younger artists, that's what they look for to get inspiration. Mm-hmm. And anytime you take from an original work, you have to give credit and give permission. So even if it's just, 2 seconds of a work, if it's an identifiable piece of someone else's work, you have to get permission. And if you don't, that's infringement. So a lot of the classic catalogs are being used for newer music. So it's important for the older artists as well as the younger artists to register their works and make sure that there's a paper trail, that all the contributors of the works is well documented, so that in the event any piece of the work is used by someone else at a later point, be able to preserve your rights and enforce your rights, actually, is the better term.
And what if that artist is no longer alive? Let's look at somebody like Mr. Peters. And I'm just using that as an example, but it could be any artist that has passed. Can the family do it? I mean, what are the steps to take?
Right. The family, usually it falls to the estate.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that a lot of artists aren't aware of. They don't feel that. And we do have instances in our membership where some of the writers have passed, but no estates were open because they passed without what they call any property. They didn't have real property, but they have intangible property, which is the copyrights in their works, because their songs are still generating royalties worldwide, and especially because of the digital age. And so their estates would have to be open, and those works would fall into the estates, and their personal reps would be the ones who would pursue any legal claims with respect to the music. And then once those legal claims are realized or satisfied, then the estate would close and it would fall to their beneficiaries. Mm-hmm. So it's just like with any other property. When someone dies that passes, it's the same process. And it can also be willed to their beneficiaries just the same. Put in a will and it passes. It can be held in a trust. I mean, there's so many different ways to deal with it, but it's just like real property, it's just intangible.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, is it expensive to copyright my product?
Expensive is relative. There are copyright fees, definitely, but it's worth it, and it's less expensive to copyright unpublished work, because then you can, if you have like 20 songs, it's just one fee, all 20 songs are covered. Once the song is published, it's more expensive. I can't recall off the top of my head for the register filing fee now. Yeah, I can't recall, but it's more expensive once you publish. So your best bet is to do the registration when the songs prior to publication.
Melissa, following the rollout of this situation this weekend, have you or have BSCAP been hearing from Belizean artists in respect to trying to get their music copyrighted?
Yeah, we have been hearing, we participated in the Music Week activities, so we had a forum, and we have been hearing there are artists who opt to register or apply for the foreign CMOs, so BMI and ASCAP, because they believe that they're going to collect more royalties that way. And that's their personal choice. But there are steps that many artists are beginning to take. Questions are being asked in terms of how they can go about doing it. And we have always been here to advise and to show them, how they can begin to protect their work before it's even released.
If an artist would hear their copyrighted song being played elsewhere, and I think this happened several times. I know my brother Super G had done his work. What do I need to do to get my royalties? What are my steps? How do I get that?
Well, one of the things you have to do is, that's kind of, there's several different ways to go about it. But one of the ways, because I have worked with Super G and some of his claims for infringement, and I always advise to reach out to an attorney because it's a lot of due diligence that you might not be able to do on your own unless you have someone in management on your team who can handle it. So you basically have to reach out to the ones who are infringing. And that's after you've made sure that your works have been copyright registered with the Copyright Office that's here in the States. Because that's the only way that's the first. If you don't have a registration, nobody's really going to take your call. Now you're an attorney, and you certainly aren't going to get into court. But you have to have the copyright registration, and thereafter it's reaching out to the infringers and trying to negotiate. And it just depends on the circumstances. If it's a big song, the big artist, you want to go after where the deep pockets are. If it's not so much, then you want to negotiate on the lower level. So it really depends on the infringing use and the parties involved. But you definitely have to reach out. I would advise to reach out to an attorney to represent your interests. And you have to be prepared to pay some money because it's not cheap at all.
Yeah. And it'll also be very expensive to fight it as well, if you don't have the type of protection you need.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes it's not necessarily. A lot of people move based on emotions. It's their song, and we get it. It's your song, you've worked hard, and then someone steals it from you. But that's not the only reason to proceed, because it can be quite expensive to go full length of a copyright infringement action.
All right. Well, Melissa, tell us a bit about the services that BSCAP offers, because it's not just musicians or songwriters that you help.
Yes. Well, our members are performers. So anybody who performs, whether it's playing an instrument or vocals. We have authors, and it is the writers of the lyrics or the persons that create the melody. We have producers. We have publishers. The publishers are those persons that distribute the works after they've been created. So those are the categories of membership that we have, and a person can fall under one or more, because in Belize, that we tend to do everything. So we have members that are, they produce their own works, they create the melodies, they write the lyrics, they publish their works. And so those are membership categories. We also ensure that music that is publicly performed is licensed. So any restaurant, bar, concert that publicly play music without obtaining a license is in infringement of the Copyright Act. That includes radio stations, TV stations. If you do not have a license for the public performance of music, you are in infringement. That's just it at the basic level. So we reach out to music users to send them information and for them to begin to be licensed so that they're not in infringement and so that the royalties that are generated can go back to the creators of the musical works.
All right. Well, you guys cleared that up for us. Heather Cunningham and Melissa Zuniga, we'd like to thank you so very much for joining us this morning to break down what we can do and how we can do to get our product, our music, and the other things that we do copyrighted. Thank you.
Thank you as well.
All right, so there we go. We're about to take a break. When we come back, we'll be chit-chatting with a pediatrician neurologist. We'll be discussing the effects of screen time on your children's brain. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
Here are 3 reasons why people choose Dunis as their #1 store. Reason 1, for loans of up to $1,000 in cash for unexpected emergencies. The process is quick and easy. Reason 2, for a wide variety of household items such as smart TVs, washers and dryers, stoves, refrigerators, freezers, cookware, back-to-school supplies, and much more. Check out our comfortable sofa sets in various sizes and styles. And reason 3, we are agents for Western Union, where you can send or receive money in minutes or pay all your utility bills and avoid waiting in long lines. And don't forget, Dunis provides layaway plans and credit on all household items. So make the right choice and shop for the best quality products at competitive prices with friendly customer service.
Dunis, located at number 57 Albert Street, Belize City, and in Corozal at number 8 Park Street South. Give us a call at 280-5209, 650-6580, or 422-3342. Dunis!
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor and you'll be 35% more productive. At Foltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Foltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, Call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, won't even try.
Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, ain't gon' try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, ain't gon' try. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. People die every day, I'm not going with ya. I'ma find my own way, I'm not going with ya. It's okay, I'll wait. Even good people make mistakes. I don't wanna realize when it's too late. Drinking and driving is never safe. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, ain't gon' try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, ain't gon' try.
Hi, it's me, your clean, germ-free public water supply running through rural Belize to touch the lives of our villagers. I just want to take a moment to thank all of you for making me feel so special. I take my job seriously, making sure I'm always ready to drink and available. And I love my job, taking care of the entire family, gently bathing baby Fred, making sure he gets no soap in his eyes, splashing down on Dad's garden to keep the vegetables growing. One of my favorite activities is to pour into the kitchen to help Mom prepare a wonderful home-cooked meal. And at the end of the day, I rest, waiting on standby for whenever the family needs me again. Most importantly, when villagers pay their water bills, I get the support I need to keep working for everyone's benefit. Always remember, investing in me is investing in life.
The Department of Rural Development is working on achieving Goal 6 of the Sustainable Development Goals, which is to ensure access to water and sanitation for all.
And welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our second segment for the morning. And this one is definitely a conversation we need to have, especially if we've got children at home. Now, we've got in with us pediatrician and neurologist. We'll be discussing the effects of screen time on your children's brain. In with us is Dr. Marco Tulio Mendez. He's a pediatrician and neurologist. Dr. Mendez, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone.
And how are you today? All right.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great.
All right. So there we go. Loving the energy.
It's a pleasure to be here with you all again.
All right. We're loving your energy. And so let's get on with it. When we talk about screen time, what are we talking about? What is screen time for children?
Well, it is the time that the child is going to be seeing the screen itself. Okay, either could be a cellular, it could be also the television or the computer. That it is more than what normally has been stipulated as the time a child could be viewing this type of in ways on how to entertain themselves. But yes, screen timing has been definitely something that it is a problem nowadays. I would say that now with this, with the pandemic, with COVID-19, it has really started to make to be a problem worldwide. So definitely screen time is something that we need to be aware that at the long run, it could certain problems on children.
It's a great time to be having this conversation, Doc. You did mention the pandemic, where there is no in-person learning. Everything is going to be on a screen, at least for the start. The children were out of school for about a year or more, and they were actually glued to the TV, to the tablet, to the cell phone, like you mentioned. Doc, how do we combat this? How do we let's put this into perspective. How do we combat this?
Yes, it is going to be. It is not easy for parents. It is not easy for anybody, for everybody to be always on top of the child on trying to see that we are able to monitor this quantity of time that they are there. But as parents, definitely we have to be always emphasizing. Now, we start to think, well, how much cell phone is too much? You have been hearing about the timing of the screening, that it is something bad for our children.
Yeah.
But we also need to be aware that it is not all that bad, because we do have some education programs that a child is definitely going to absorb and going to learn from. So it is important for us to let's see where the borderline is.
Yes. No, absolutely. If we were having this conversation 2 years ago, I'm sure it would be a very different point of view. But in today's reality, this is part of how children are connecting with the world. But let's talk about some parameters that parents can put in place. They have to use their devices for school, and they have to use their devices to kind of interact with friends. What are some of the guidelines that you would give, or some of the things that parents need to know and be aware of?
Yes. Well, Marlene, this the timing of how long a child is supposed to be exposed to the screen, let's say during the entire day. Children that are less than 18 months, let's put it 2 years, less than 8, they are not supposed to have a screen time. So it's supposed to be limited, and it's supposed to be. But some do report that less than 1 hour per day. Okay, and there has to be an adult present. Mainly those children that are less than this age, 2 years. They do have, it's very important that they only do video chatting. Why? Because they cannot internalize what they are seeing in screen with reality. So children under 2 years are not supposed to be exposed too much to.
Wow. So when they watch their cartoons on screen time, they're not internalizing. You're talking under 2. This is the first category we're talking about. Yeah, under 2.
Under 2.
Under 2, the advice is that you really shouldn't have this age group of children viewing a tablet or phone.
Yes, they are not supposed to be doing it alone. They're supposed to have an adult. And only when they do it is by video chatting to somebody else, because they are not it has not been well developed within their brain for them to be able to realize that that is something outside, not real.
So, Doc, I'm curious to know, is this a study that has been in place a long time ago, or something that just came out?
No, this is something that is definitely have been well studied, and the American Academy of Pediatrics really has indicated that it is very important, because at this age, children learn they need to be touching, they need to be everything, they need to be smelling, they need to, all their senses need to be present there so that they will be able to learn. This first 2 years is very important for the child to be able.
So we're still talking about less than 2, that they shouldn't be interacting with the screen, and if they are interacting on a screen, then it should be along with a physical person, because they'll learn through people interaction rather than screen interaction.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about this 2 to 5 year old. They're the ones who love their cartoons and videos on YouTube. What's the advice there?
Yes, children between these ages, 2 to 5 years old, it has been recommended that more or less they be being provided 1 hour and a half per day. Okay? It's supposed to be
for the entire day.
That is for the entire day.
Wow.
That is really how I would say sometimes one could see how much we expose our children to the quantity of that they are presenting themselves alone with the screen. Okay, but it's different if they are, let's say, having a very educational program, which will be able to provide them with some very adequate means of maturing their brains. Brains mature till more or less around 21 to 22 years. Okay, so all of that time we're having that brain is maturing, it's connecting, and it is within this period of time that we will have connections that are still not there, and that we need to provide them with very adequate educational programs.
Now, Doc, would you say, because interestingly, you for children 2 to 5 years old, 1 hour or less per day, would you say a straight hour, or would you say, you know what, we'll do somewhere around 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there? Which would be recommended?
Now, Marlene did stated something very important. In some special time in our everywhere. So with the pandemic, they have really provided and saying that children, yes, could be on the screen a little bit more time, up to 2 to 3 hours. So that changes, and as you could see, what we are going through here right now, it is also being happening through the entire world. So the pandemic has really changed even some of the recommendations by the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Wow. And then we move on to, I think the slide have what, up to 18?
Over 5 to 18.
Over 5 to 18.
Yes, over 5 to 18. Each child supposed to be monitored what is being provided to them, but it should also supposed to be supervised, but more hours are given to them. Now, more or less, the quantity of hours, it is up to 2 to 3 hours. As I said, it's always supposed to be something educational. There has been studies being done, and for example, children that are over, let's say, 5 years, 8 years, 9 years, whereby they have been using their screen for up to 6, 8, 9 hours a day. And those are the ones that afterwards get addicted to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know if your child is addicted to the screen?
Well, definitely one has to be monitoring the child and see how well, how much time he's using it. But most children that are addictive, they tend to use programs that are violent, that have excitement, because the mechanism on how they start to get addicted is through a wiring that we have in our brain, where there is a secretion of a chemical that is called the dopamine. And just like how alcoholism and other addictive substances could cause the person that addiction, so is the high quantity of hours that we are exposed to screen could cause addiction, because that child is always trying to get more of that like pleasure effect that that is being provoked by those, for example, games, or because most of the time children, when they are with their cellular, they want to be playing the games. So they that little prize, or they want to get that other screen image that they know that, oh, that I did it, I that better. So that pleasure starts to build in and starts to be an addictive way on how child always wants to feel more and more and more. And that is when they start to get addictive and pass through entire hours, 9 hours.
But you have, like what I see on this screen here, these are some really interesting, if parents see these types of behaviors, negative thinking styles, whether they have poor impulse control, these are things that people may see in children and just think they're being a bit moody, but it could in fact be a matter of their addiction to the digital device.
Yes, and one could see it in, around children, that as one tells them, oh, give me that cellular, stop using it, they get moody. And if they are addictive, then they start to get violent and throw the cellular down into the ground and start to do a huge tantrum. So that is where we need to, if it is happening constantly, we need to be aware that, oh, my child could now start to be addicted to this type of device. And the child is using it in late hours.
Yes.
And the blue light that is screen, that will also cause an impression on the child's mind. And some children with that blue light, it is very difficult for them to go to sleep. So it starts to cause a vicious cycle. They are not even sleeping okay, they are fatigued, they are always in a moody way, and they still want to continue seeing that screen.
Yeah. So what's the long-term impact of this?
The problem, if we expose our children at a very early age, say, put it 3 years, 4 years, with more hours of screen, it has been seen that our brain has two big compartments, what we call the gray matter and the white matter. The gray matter is the one that has the neurons, let's say the functional part, but the white matter, it connects all our brains, just like you are seeing on the screen, those connections. So that white matter has been shown that it decreases. So children are not afterwards having all the brain functioning. So their social skills, their learning ability, their adaptation is going to be affected.
Wow.
All right.
Doc, you know, there's a program on these devices called Roblox, and kids are actually addicted to these things. And I'd like to get your perspective on how do we de-escalate addictiveness to these screens and these children. How do we do that?
Yes, it is very important for the family, definitely to interact with the child. Always have some, let's say, be able to play with them, be able to do something more interactive with them, not with the television or not with the screening, but be more into the child of having a normal life. I know it is difficult right now with the pandemic, okay, but we need to be trying to get them into a normal physical activities like any type of sports or any type of games that we have available at home, that we could spend. That interaction with the child is very, very important. And that is the only way that we will start decreasing this quantity of time that they are on the screen.
Wow.
Of course, when they start to get too addictive, like how we were showing the screen just a while ago, that is already a disease. And there are centers in the USA where they are treating this addictive media of children, because it has reached a point that they start with the cyberbullying. They harass people, friends and everybody around. So in one way or another, they start to be antisocial.
Yeah. Well, Doc, you've broken it down for us. You know, it's an alarming situation for the fact that the pandemic is on. Children will actually be learning online. I know we're talking something somewhat different. When we talk about being screen time, is watching things that might not be able to be of educational for them. So we're thankful that you're able to break that down for us, Doc.
Exactly. That we have to define big difference when it is educational and when it is just some other means of trying to entertain themselves by violent images. You spoke about Fortnite. That's why those games, they have specifically the age that the child could use it, and it is over 12 years. So we have to be very careful when we buy a device for children, that it specifies the age limit, because that has been shown that it could be detrimental to his learning and adaptation in life.
What about his? What about not only his, but their immune system build up? I mean, they're not active at that time. How dangerous is screen time to immunity build or system build?
Yes, there are other areas that are going to be affected. We spoke about for example, the sleep time. That is going to be altered. That is one of the, I would say, the important ones that are going to be affected, because we have what we call the circadian rhythm, or a rhythm that in the night, let's say at 8, 9, 10 o'clock, depending on the child's age, we put to sleep. There is an increased quantity of a hormone that is called melatonin, and this has been seen that it decreases with too much exposure of screen. But also, not only will the inactivity, because we know that by playing around with physically, we do use energy. Children that are on screen time, they won't be using that energy, so they could still be using more screen time in the night. So the physical activity is being displaced, so they will continue being awake a little bit more. But the bright light and also the light, all of that is being provided through the screen is going to cause some alterations with that surge of the melatonin that put them to sleep. And also during the night, when they are, for example, using the games or using the screen, there is a bit of the adrenaline. And we know that when we are running, the adrenaline, the red heart is pumping. So that also, those mechanisms will be in place when they are using the screen, and for them to go to sleep, it will take a while to settle down. So that is taking about half an hour, 1 more hour for them to be able to sleep. So that is why it is important that we don't have make sure that we don't have those devices in the children's room, because not only will they be using it at pleasure, but also it has been shown that the electromagnetic radiation from the device cause also alterations with their sleep. So that in itself.
So even though their eyes are closed, it's more the quality of sleep that they're not getting quality sleep.
Yes, and a child needs at least 10 to 12 hours sleep for him to be able to the following day go. I mean, right now classes are going to start.
Yeah.
So for them to learn adequately, they need to sleep that quantity of hours.
All right. Wow. So, Doc, before you go though, I wanna ask you one last question. Parents are watching right now. They're probably saying, "Listen, Dr. Mendez, all that you're saying makes sense, but right now, I'm doing the best that I can, and that includes having the children on their devices." What do you say to parents? I mean, but if you had somebody coming into your office with their child, how do you encourage them to at least try to wean or reduce the hours, or how to manage, especially during these times?
Yes. Well, with the pandemic, Marlene, it is something that definitely has caused disruption of those, I would say, recommendations that have already been given. So it is. There are some questions that you had on the screen there, okay, which are very, very important for the parents to obviously realize. It's so simple, and they will be able to see if they are really having or providing the child to have the best way on how to carry it.
Okay, yeah. This is a great way.
Enough, and if that, okay, if the answers are yes, then definitely one is going in a positive way. Are they getting some form of exercise, at least some exercise, and they are not only being there with the screen all day. Are the parents, us, really having quality time with the child and the child with the family? And when they use screen time, do they only go into the games and all the excitement, or do they get in touch with friends? Those are the questions that are important to the parents. Once we are having a balance of this, they know that the screen time is not being of a problem for his development.
Okay.
All right, Doc. Thank you. Thank you for joining us this morning and breaking that down for us. Now we know that this is a very serious situation, but at the same time, we know now how to combat it if we notice that things are actually slipping with screen time. Thank you.
And thank you very much. And all I just want to say is that yes, screen time is not bad once we have a very good educational programs that is causing the child to develop in a normal way.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Tulio Mendez, do have a nice day today. We're about to take a break. When we come back, we'll be discussing Dare to Dream Big. It's a program, and folks from B&E will be telling us all about it. Come on.
Imagine going through your entire day without the burden and risk of carrying cash on you. Belize's shift to digital wallets has begun with eCash. We can now skip the cash when collecting money or paying for our essentials, all while using a fast, easy, and secure platform. Simply add funds to your wallet via bank transfer or at an agent, and you're good to go. You will be able to make quick, easy payments simply by scanning QR codes. And best of all happens just like that. Payments are as easy as clicking a link online or scanning a QR code. Download the eCash app from the Google Play and Apple App Store today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. The future is here with eCash. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257 to find out more.
I feel honored. Truthfully, like I said, as a teacher, I feel that this is my highlight for the month, I guess. A beautiful way to start the month. To be among students who are aspiring to be someone. Today, we trust in you. We believe in you. Because to have been chosen out of the 350 students, there is a spark in you that we saw, that we believe in. Now it's up to you to go out there and let that spark illuminate the world. We need that in Belize, and we at Social Security are depending on you to bring that light to them.
Is always with you, from live TV, sports, and on-demand titles. Choose your plan today. Plans start as low as $15 per month. My TV, entertainment, anytime, anywhere.
And I got vaccinated to protect myself, my family, my patients, and my community.
Good morning, Nurse Martinez here. I got my vaccine because I want to protect my family, especially my patients, and everybody around me. Everybody I come in contact with.
Mi nombre es Nurse Chinchilla. Me vacuné porque quiero proteger mis familias y mis pacientes.
I'm Dr. Nunes, internist at Sorrentino Hospital, and I got vaccinated to protect myself, my staff, and my patients.
Soy el doctor Eduardo García. He trabajado 22 años en Belice y yo me puse la vacuna del COVID por la sencilla razón de protegerme a mí mismo, proteger a mi familia y proteger al país de Belice, porque es importante pensar en Belice.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. Moving now into our third and final segment for the morning. Now, this one is all about Dare to Dream Big. What is it? It's a program, and we've got folks from BNE to tell us all about it. Albert Garcia is in with us, my buddy that's my bro. He's from BNE Charitable Trust. And Charlotte Neal Lopez is Director of Becelar, and we're so glad to have both of you in. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure, guys. Good morning, Belize.
Yeah.
Coming in with
What's
that
this energy, right?
Love it. Yeah.
Bert, you have to come to the energy there, guys.
So, good morning, good morning.
But guys, you know, very nice to have you in, primarily. And secondarily, let's talk about Dare to Dream Big.
Yes.
This program, tell us about it, Albert. What is it about, and how did we get here?
Okay, the Dare to Dream Big program was brought together with us. Actually, I'll go back a bit just to explain a bit more about the trust. So that sort of helps to tie into understanding the purpose of the program. So the B&E Trust was actually brought about by the two directors, originating directors, Mike Usher and Susan Morris. They tried to find oil here in Belize for probably over 20 years. To no avail, nothing happened. When they had proper training in understanding sort of something you were discussing just now, which is EI, which is really understanding your mind a bit more, understanding your mindset, and even understanding the importance of alignment, that made the world of difference for them. So when they found oil, a part of what they wanted to do was have a special flow of revenue go to a trust, whereby the purpose of this is to really empower Belizeans and provide them with the same level of training that they had, so that they too can really make a difference. So at the trust, we're looking at how we can empower other Belizeans so that they too can understand the importance of their self, their potential, and also alignment. So the purpose of the Dare to Dream Big program, this came about based on their vision, which is helping entrepreneurs right now, because we know that due to COVID, they got hit quite hard. So what we looked at was how we can help them first off to expand on whatever vision they have, their vision or capacity of their business, be it new or an existing business. And then one of the things that we noticed was lacking was training. And of course, funding. So those are the two things that tend to be lacking in small businesses. So we looked at creating a program whereby we can help them expand on that vision one, provide them with the business training that they needed. Separate from that, also look at seed capital. So we have the program, and it's designed for 50 people. Now, anyone can apply, new or an existing business. Of that, we will select 50. And what they will have access to is training from Ms. Charlotte Neal's group. Separate from that, what we're looking at is selecting 5 out of that 50 to award the seed capital to one. Separate from that, it's also to provide them with the same level of training that the B&E directors had access to really help them understand the importance of mindset in business and their potential, because that's one of the key parts of it that we feel is lacking in business. It's looking at the mental approach to it, because in business, you can face challenges, and if you're not prepared mentally for that, that's when everything crumbles.
Absolutely. Now, I love the approach that you're taking, because it's always a great idea to help entrepreneurs. And we have seen more and more where people are recognizing that entrepreneurs do need an extra hand at times. But you're taking it a step further. You are not just, what is the saying? Not give the man the fish, teach him how to fish. You're giving him the fish, but you're still teaching him to fish too. Because understanding how to manage that business is a key part of it as well. So, you know, let's get Charlotte in at this point and talk about the training opportunities and the difference it can make for entrepreneurs.
Awesome. We were so excited to partner with B&E Trust on this very important project. It's one of those projects that we too dream of, because as entrepreneurs ourselves, having gone through that process, we see the importance of it. So we are the Belize Institute for Service Excellence, Leadership and Research. And our goal really is to inspire people to dream big. And so this program really fits right into our mentor. And for us, it's more than just a business arrangement. It's a passion of ours. What we've put together is an A team, as we always do, with expertise from business development to somebody working in the banking sector who actually knows what it is you're looking for when you're applying for funding.
Yeah.
And so we've put together 6 modules, a comprehensive training that starts on the 4th. And we're even looking at things like motivation. So we start off on a high note. On that first week in the orientation, it's getting motivated because it's really going to push you forward. It's a lot of work. I'm telling you, if you're going to apply, we want it to be a lot of work because a successful business requires a lot of work. You know, Steve Jobs said, do what you love and you won't work a day in your life. And I changed that quick as an entrepreneur. And I say, you will work every day in your life, but you will love it.
You will love it.
And so getting used to the concept of hard work is something we put right out there. So if you're coming here looking for the easy way out, a quick buck, this is probably not the place for you. I work for myself because I work less. I work, no, sorry to burst your bubble. It doesn't work, but it's highly rewarding. And so we take you through that whole process of setting up your business, all the way to developing your prototype if you don't already have one. And, you know, examining your market, looking at your customers. Because one of the things that we like to do as entrepreneurs, so who are your customers? Oh, everybody, who are Belize? There's no such thing as you need to define your customers. Because your target customers dictate.
You can't chase everybody.
Exactly. And the design of your product as well. If your target customer are kids 5 to 9, you better have a lot of bells and frills and collars and whistles. So you need to know so we take you through that entire process. The financial management, which is crucial. You know, looking at your cash flow, all of that. And then there's the sales, the customer service. This is a full training. Throughout these 6 modules, which run around maybe 8 to 10 weeks, after each lesson, it's 3 hours for our Zoom, it's all online. What we do is you have assignments, you have deliverables. And we do that by using our online learning platform or bzlearn.com. So all this information is uploaded there. You could go back and review the lessons, you get additional materials, and then you submit. So each week you're submitting parts of your plans, parts of your modules. You're going out there and talking to people. It's intensive, but it's great. It's walking you through that entire process. There will be the opportunity for those who come with an idea to, some people come in these trainings and at week 2 they say, Miss, I don't think my idea will work. This is what I had. And that's fine. We say to you, I'm glad you recognize it. This is the time to recognize it. And so you're free to change your idea at week 2. After week 2, forget it. This is the idea you go with. So we really want to work with them over that 6 weeks, because after that, there's a pitch. We've not decided yet. I think it's...
Is this Shark Tank style?
Pretty much.
I love Shark Tank. So
do I. We've not decided exactly which tank we're going to use, but we'll try and show at least 1 or 2 sharks in there for sure. And then at least maybe 20 to 25 of those successful participants who have showed that tenacity, you know, that viability, innovation they've stick through, will go on to do the pitch.
Nice. And from the pitch, you said 5 businesses will be 5 entrepreneurs will be selected to be able to receive some seed capital. How much would they receive?
Up to $10,000 they'll be getting. And what we're looking for, and I think I need to share this aspect of it as well. As I explained earlier, that with the trust we're looking at empowerment. So we are looking at a social dynamic when it comes to this, because yes, business is there to generate a profit, but we also want to look at what social impact it'll make. Because we believe if you avail of the training, if you learn more, and if you can even do something to really help others move forward, that helps our country to move forward. And ideally, that's the goal. How can we get Belize to really, from my perspective, stand out as a beacon to the rest of the world, to show what is possible when people share with other people, when people believe in others. And I think that can really showcase us and showcase what we're really about as a country.
I love that you've also said it doesn't have to be a new idea. You could already be in business, and this is an opportunity to be able to apply to improve your skill set and then also access the possibility of additional capital.
Yes, and one of the things I like about that, and I can share from our own experience, some people dive in head first without doing all the planning and they underestimate the importance. And so they may be doing well, but they're struggling in so many areas. And so it pays to go back and revisit and really formalize your business. There are those who are in business and they've not even registered your business as yet. That whole formal process of maybe even establishing a bank account, etc. So all of that we walk you through and we ask you to do that. And while we focus on, okay, 5 people will receive 10,000, and that's wonderful. I wish I was one of those 5.
But you're an entrepreneur.
The reality is that the value to the training, and Albert and I discussed this. When we do this with businesses, you're paying at least $5,000 to formalize your business, to get the plan, to get the training. So you are walking away with a value of at least $5,000 worth of training.
And that's for the start.
As for 50 of you. And to me, trust me, with that alone, you can go ahead and make your own money. Because it's
apply for funding too.
Apply for funding, because that's a part of what we will do. Make sure that you know what's available, what resources are out there. And because we're so passionate in ensuring that this is a success, we've committed to follow with these entrepreneurs, the successful ones, and those who reach out to us as well, among the 50, to monitor and evaluate at the 3-month point, at the 6-month point. Because they need to have an implementation plan. What's your plan? And so we are guiding them through the process. Up to a year to make sure it's successful.
And indeed, it's always about the plan. One of the things I wanted to touch on, you did mention new and existing business. I think it's a very good thing, especially for existing business, because they already have somewhat of a blueprint. So all they need to do now is to just make some corrective measures, and that's where the training comes in. How do you apply to be a part of this?
We have the application process a couple of ways. One, of course, we have a Facebook page. There's also an Instagram page whereby you can go on. We have the flyer there with the ability to scan and access the material it's just a form to fill out with some questions. So it makes it easy. As well, you can access the BNE Trust website. So it's on there. So of course, any type of social media, or if you'd even like to call, you can also call the BNE Trust, and we will walk you through the steps of the application process. One of the things that we really want to emphasize is that this is open for anybody. It's not limited.
Any age, any part of the country.
Well, 18 plus. But
we got some young entrepreneurs we've been featuring these days. Let me tell you, 11.
Really?
Yeah.
They've got their business going on.
We're 18 and above. We were looking at.
So we're catering for 18 and above. It could be a barber shop. It could be your
whatever it is. We're asking people to apply. Don't look through the mindset of fear, of worry. What about this or what about that? If you apply, you don't know what can happen.
That's true.
And as Ms. Lopez explained, I mean, the value of the training is $5,000 in terms of what you're getting. And that's just a step in the right direction. You never know what can happen. So it pays to just try it out, apply. If you have an idea, don't doubt yourself, because I know the biggest limitation in any business, any person, is their own doubts, their own fears. That limits you. And that's a part of what we want to look at with the training as people progress, and especially when we look at the mental aspect of the training, to understand how to forego those negative thoughts, your own self-doubts, to move forward with business, because you can do it, you can get it done. You just need to believe in yourself first and move forward.
So I'm sure you've got a lot of buy-ins right now, but am I late to apply? And what's my duration? Because I want to have a conversation with my partners. I want to, hey, you think we should apply for this? What's the window for application?
We have applications, the closing date is the 22nd, so there's still quite a bit of time.
So, and it's a very simple, we were skimming through the application form.
It's a very simple pre-screening.
And it's 50 people who will benefit, 50 entrepreneurs who
Yep.
will benefit from this training.
Yep.
15.
That's a lot of slots. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. You have a great chance of getting in.
Yeah.
And as I was sharing with Albert, I mean, our goal is to try and get at least 300 applicants so that we can select from a good number.
Yeah.
But I was telling him, for us, because we are into research, those are valuable. That's valuable information
Yeah.
to receive, to be able to know what's out there.
Yeah.
And like he said, this is a pilot project.
Yeah.
So that information helps us. So don't discount yourself and say, well, I might not win. The fact that you applied and we know, hey, you have an interest,
Yeah.
you have an idea. It helps us to prepare for a following cohort, to be able to know, hey, these are the people who are looking for funding.
Can I apply if I haven't started anything yet? Like I just have the idea in my mind and I'm thinking, okay,
Yes.
great.
So
Well,
it's open to that.
that's the part of the dare to dream big.
Yep.
Definitely. And the insight that you will get, a little over a year ago, we pitched for an IADB fund and went through the whole process, and the training was tremendous. I did not win, but I learned so much, and that's why I'm so passionate about this experience, because I know the benefits of it. We in Belize like to do things haphazardly, and sometimes for us it works. But guess what? You get stuck at a certain point in your growth, and it works for you here. But moving to the next level requires that structure. It requires that you get that knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's what we're offering. So even if you say, oh, but I did okay. No. Okay is not good enough.
That's right.
We want you to grow. And so that's what we're providing.
And
that
even if you're
structure.
doing okay, how's your staff doing? And also, are you as efficient as possible? So, and are your customers happy or your clients happy? So I think that people, I mean, you're right. I think just the benefit of having 50 entrepreneurs enroll in this type of project is a big deal already. And then, of course, moving to the point of the pitch, that's going to be interesting. I do hope that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We are, depending on what's going on at the time, we're considering doing it online.
Okay.
But we're going to do it live on Facebook.
Nice.
So there will be that feature as well.
Yeah.
Participants need to know it's not just the pitch, because some people might say, well, I don't like to talk.
Yeah.
I'm not good at presenting.
You're right. That might,
A lot
they
of
might get
people feel
worried.
that
I
way.
know.
That's a lot, yeah. But that's only 40%. The entire process and your deliverables, whatever you're submitting, those are going towards 60%. So when you go in to do the pitch, you already have a potential 60% that you have earned by showing up, by being committed, by doing the stuff weekly, and then the pitch is 40%. So even if you're not a great speaker, don't worry about it. There are other ways that you can.
You could make a breakthrough.
You guys must be
other ways.
excited to see who's going to apply. Have you?
Yes.
You started to see some applications already, right?
Yes.
Tell us about some of the businesses
goodness.
that are applying at this time.
I think there was quite a wide range from looking at, I know you mentioned barbering, from looking at cake to looking at in terms of Honeybee's business. I haven't gotten to see every single one.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point there's close to 200 applications.
Oh wow!
So
already.
And you still have an additional week to go.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know, John, if you can apply.
One of the things we encourage people to do is
Charlotte's like, I want more.
Yeah, we want more. We want to encourage people.
Yeah.
We encourage people to be innovative. We've seen, especially through this pandemic, that's one of the things that have set businesses apart. Those who are able to be innovative. I saw an entrepreneur in Belmopan, because bars are closed, etc.
Yeah.
People, I'm not a heavy drinker, but your little cocktails.
Yeah.
And then I see this frozen stuff, where it's bagged, and you can just go and pick up your frozen stuff. And I'm like, this is genius.
Yes.
So it's innovation. I don't have to sit, and I could pour it in my own fancy glass and put my little piece of pineapple at home. But the idea that you are able to innovate is what's going to really stand out. That you have a business, but it's that innovation that's going to put you over the edge. So think of those creative ways that you can come up with. in order to really put yourself above the rest.
Oh my goodness, you are not
Dare
girl,
to
I tell you.
dream big.
It's possible.
I love it.
Possible.
And I think the pandemic has weighed down heavy on a lot of people. A lot of
Yes.
people have lost their jobs, or they're working for less income, and people have to find ways to supplement. The ideas are there. We are a creative bunch of people. We just need that push. And this might be the push for many.
Yeah.
It is to inspire. That's really the goal, like I said. So brush up your idea, submit your application, and we're committed to get back to everybody. So don't say, oh, I'll send in my application. I don't hear from them people at all. We'll get back to you nonetheless, whether you are successful or not. Just to let you know, there will be another time.
And while you offer this training, so they could work towards being able to do it at another time as well, or at least segments of it.
Yes, we do offer this business development training as a regular part of what we do at the Belize Institute. And so if you feel that you want to do something outside of this, please, by all means, you can contact us. We schedule this training at least twice a year. At least twice a year online. And it's very affordable, and it gets great reviews. So there are other opportunities.
So Albert, you have the task of sifting through the 200, 300 applications.
I was just thinking about it.
I would be excited to see all of those. Yeah.
It will be myself along with, of course, our administrator, and we also have someone working directly with us who has quite a bit of business experience. So we do have that benefit, and I think it's going to be a quite exciting time, as Ms. Charlotte explained, because looking at all the data we can gather, it gives us a clear picture of the areas of need also in Belize. And how we can look at moving forward to create that impact there, because as you explained, it is a pilot project. This is something that we're looking at starting off, and then looking at how we can replicate this to make it a continuous process whereby I believe that we can grow on a whole.
Well, definitely. One final thing that I forget to mention, no double dipping, please. It's a small pool. If you know you've received funding already from some other source, be honest and declare that in your application. Because if you don't declare it and we find out, and we will find out through the screening process, you disqualify yourself. You could say, yes, I got 1,000, and we will look at that. It won't disqualify you, but it's important that we know who you're working with, who you've partnered with, what your status is. Because we really want to ensure that those who are deserving of the funding, who really need it to move forward, those are the ones who are getting it. So make sure you're telling the truth. Make sure, because we will find out. We will do the little background check.
I love how nicely she says that. It's like, we're going to investigate.
We must. Integrity is a huge part of business.
And also, I think it's also one of those things that there are people who who may need it a bit more, who haven't had the opportunity as yet. So this is a wonderful idea. Dare to dream.
Dare to dream.
big.
And we're so thankful that you guys could have joined us this morning to discuss the situation. We know that this is actually a win-win for all. Making the application is actually a win for you. You could do it again in the event, no? So thank you guys so very much for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much for having us.
We wish all those businesses all the best.
Go ahead and apply. You have until Sunday at midnight. Don't let the time pass you by, or the opportunity.
All right.
All right. You can find it on Facebook. You can scan the QR code on the flyer. You can call B&E, email B&E, or access it on the website.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much for being here, and best of luck. Looking forward to seeing who gets the top 5.
Yeah.
I want to see the pitch. That's
I want to see that too.
All right.
All right. So we're about to take a break, and when we come back, I think we've got one big news.
Yeah. Today's a big day.
It's a big day.
We got the touchdown of the Pfizer vaccine.
Pfizer vaccine just touched down in Belize. We'll tell you a little bit more about it when we come back.
Hey son, how was your first day at sixth form?
Really cool. It was great to see my friends, and I really love my teachers.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm sorry I wasn't there for your first day, but I'll be back from Corozal next week.
It's okay, Dad. I can't wait to see you. Oh, and please remember, I still have some books I need to purchase.
Ah, yes. Let me e-cash you that right now. Money has been sent. I add a little extra cash just for you.
Whoa, Dad. Thanks. Got it.
You're welcome, sir.
Download the eCash app today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257. eCash, the future is here.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese, exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
And I got vaccinated to protect myself, my family, my patients, and my community.
Alright, good morning, Nurse Martinez here. I got my vaccine because I want to protect my family, especially my patients, and everybody around me, everybody I come in contact with.
Mi nombre es Nurse Chinchilla. Me vacuné porque quiero proteger mis familias y mis pacientes.
I'm Dr. Nunes, internist at Sorengia Hospital, and I got vaccinated to protect myself, my staff, and my patients.
Soy el doctor Eduardo García, he trabajado 22 años en Belice y yo me puse la vacuna del COVID por la sencilla razón de protegerme a mí mismo, proteger a mi familia y proteger al país de Belice, porque es importante pensar en Belice.
Just like that, we are back, and we've got one final thing to share with you. We've got great news for our country, and that great news is that just a while ago at the Philip Goulson International Airport, the Pfizer vaccine touched down. We've got a little clip here from Dwayne Moody as the plane touched down. So check this out. This is what Dwayne gave us this morning.
Good morning, Belize. We are here on the tarmac at the Philip Goulson International Airport, where a batch of Pfizer vaccine is being received by the government of Belize from the U.S. government. The FedEx Express cargo plane landed about a few minutes ago, and it is being received by the Charge d'Affaires for the U.S. Embassy in Belize, Leila Moses Onus. We also have here in attendance the Minister of Health and Wellness, Michelle Chabat, and we have Ambassador Amal Emai, the CEO in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They are receiving the donation from the U.S. government. Now, what we have been able to gather so far is that the batch of Pfizer vaccine is approximately 111,150 doses of the vaccine. Currently what is happening is that, of course, they're offloading this cargo, and thereafter there will be a short ceremony that will be held. Again, this is a donation from the U.S. government to Belize, and it's part of a wider initiative by the U.S. government to assist countries with COVID-19 vaccines. We will have more on this at 6 p.m. on our newscast, so stay tuned.
All right, there you have it. That's Dwayne Moody from the Philip Golson International Airport, where just a few minutes ago, the Pfizer vaccine touched down in Belize. That's a donation that we're receiving from the United States. And we did, in fact, receive the cold storage facility.
Yeah.
As you know, the Pfizer vaccines do require ultra-cold refrigeration, and so that had been received before. What is really exciting about the Pfizer vaccine is that it is most likely going to be administered to children between 12 and 18. So some children in Belize will be able to get vaccinated.
Well, Marlene, the big thing about that, as much as it's not a lot of the doses, or the amount that we would really need, the great thing about it is that the start is now here. So, like you rightly mentioned, and of course we'll be having this in our newscast later on this evening at 6 o'clock, from children from 12 years old to 17 or to 18 years old, children from 12 years old to 17 years old actually, will be able to get this vaccine. The start is here, the Pfizer vaccine.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to await the Ministry of Health's guidance on this. We know that the Ministry of Health had indicated to us that it would be offered to children. We were saying above 12 because we're saying 12 and over because that's what is being done in the States. But there's been no official word from the ministry as yet as to who and where and when it'll be administered, but just that it would be offered to children. Great step here for us as well.
That's right. Great step indeed. Like we mentioned, that and more in our 6 o'clock news report extensively. We'll be reporting on that situation. But we'd like to thank everybody for joining us this morning. It was a great time, as per usual. Yeah. Without you, this is not possible. Thanks to all our guests. And, of course, thanks to you. If you've got any questions, any concerns at all, drop us a line at oye@channel5belize.com.
You can find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at
OYE Belize. Try and fishing me out. And of course, you could join us again tomorrow morning when you open your eyes
to start your morning right. Until then,
keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.